Okay guys, it's going to be an odd coffee with Scruff today because it's going to be in two halves. I'm going to touch on a subject that nobody really touches on in trading, and I'm going to set up a little account that's been requested for me and then tell you where I'm going forward. So let's roll the intro and I'll explain it.
Matron, take them away.
And a warm welcome to one and all. This is your first time here? Big fella Scruff. I'm trying to put trading in the real world and maybe try and keep you on the right track to protect yourself. Now that'll become apparent in a moment. We're not going to be talking about strategies or anything today. We're just going to be setting up an account and I'm going to explain why that account is there, and then I'm going to talk about you as a person. Now, most of the pill hunters and those that are money chasers will be switching off about now, and quite frankly, good riddance to you. None of you are going to make it, not one. And I'll tell you why. Because you've got no concept of running a business. But what you do have a concept of is being vile and in it just for yourself. They are the worst type of people in the world. They really are. I've got no time for them. So, with that said, where's this going? I've stepped back quite a lot this year, and last year I told you I was going to calm down on companies that I deal with and one thing and another, and I've proved my point day in, day out, and now it's time just to go back to basics. And why? It's fucking killing me. It really is. I was at the doctor's last week because I'm picking infection up after infection. And at the moment, I'm suffering with a kidney infection that's affecting my liver as well. And it's come down to one thing, and this is what we're going to discuss. And it's not stress, because everybody talks about mental health and stress, and that will come into it. It's actually exhaustion. And that's why I'm going to step back. But let's jump on the chart. I'll show you what I'm talking about, and then we're going to discuss that in deeper detail. Because on the long term, it will pay dividends for you. Trust me, it will. So let's flick over and I'll explain what I'm doing. I've just set up this account. It's brand new and I've done it on purpose because I like to have swing trades and my day trades kept in separate accounts. I don't like them in the same account. And a week or so ago, 2 weeks ago, you saw me draw some money out for the Vanguard, and I left around £700 in it. And what I do with that account is I build it up and I get maybe 200 or 300 quid built into it. Then I take it out, put it in the Vanguard, let the Vanguard do the heavy lifting, and then carry on. But I was requested to do sort of, well, what can you do with 200 quid? Do 200 quid and all of this thing. So that's what I did. I've taken 200 quid out of one and I've popped it into here. So if we have a look, so I'll be adjusting this. I'll be making a little note in here that I've withdrawn £200 and that balance will drop down to whatever this is. And then I'll just carry on trading that as normal. Now, what I'm also doing is setting up another account, which is going to be called Vanguard FTSE, which I've just set the spreadsheet up here. Okay, so it's starting with 200 quid and then we'll start dropping some notes in as to what we want to do. Now, we're in March and I did a couple of test trades on it yesterday just to make certain I've got all my settings correct. And this is all I'm going to do with it. I'm going to trade the FTSE with it. I'm calling it swing, even though it's sort of an extended golden eye in river. I'm expecting the trades to run for maybe a day or so. And then I'm looking to target. Now, one of the things you can do and make life a lot simpler for you is have daily goals. Well, if I targeted 20% of that which is a huge growth. It's 92p a day. But my minimum bid size on that account is 50p. So I've got to do next to nothing. So I could actually increase that quite well and even just be doing a 5 pip trade. So let's just move this out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to put this at the 40, which is the 20% growth. It's £1.85 to get 40 quid, which is 20%. Well, let's say I just targeted for 2 or 3 quid, you know, which isn't out the ordinary. It's less than 10 pips. Less than 10 pips. And you'll find that in a heartbeat. Well, to get 45 quid, I've only got to do 2 quid, 4 pips. Well, let's just push this out a little bit. All right. What do I want? 55. There we go. So if I set that to 55 quid, it's a little over 5 pips. Peanuts. So what kind of growth is that? Well, let's see if we can just round this up. Okay, we'll say we want 30% growth this year, this month off that account. Okay, I'm going to put that into there. £2.77. And it'll grow by 30%. Massive, massive growth. Now, you can't sustain that. But in the short term, it'll start building this up. And it'll put £60 into this at the end of the month. That is a phenomenal growth. And that's the bit that I'm trying to get across. Now, I also need to set up the screens. So let me pull that in. So this is the screens. It's set on the FTSE, but I also need what's called a window of the world. Now, a window of the world, which is what I'm going to be putting into here. So we need the FTSE, obviously, because we are trading the FTSE. We need the DAX, which is here. So we're going to add the DAX in. I'm also going to put in the S&P 500. And I'm going to put in the US 100. I want to find the sudden thing. That is that. US Tech. Okay. So I need these in. So we got the DAX up there. Okay. Well, it's on a weekend market, but we'll just drop that onto the normal market. So we've got the DAX. The correlation of the DAX is euro dollar. So I'm going to put the euro dollar in here. Okay. So I'm going to put that in underneath there. And this will all become apparent in a moment. I'll explain what this is for and why I have it on all of my charts. So we then have the FTSE, which is here. The correlated market to the FTSE is the pound. So I want pound US, which is here. I'm going to drop the pound US in. Just there like so. Drop that onto standard market. Okay. I want the US 500, which is the driver of indices, which is up there. And I'm going to drop the US 100 underneath it. Put that into standard market as well. Then I want the world driver, which is gold. Gold is a big world driver. Drop that up there. And then I want to see what's happening with the dollar as well. And that's closely correlated to the US JPY. Okay. with these 8 screens, I can see the sentiment of the market and exactly what's going on. I'm actually going to, because I trade the FTSE mainly on this, I'm going to swap these round slightly. Just going to drop that into there. And we'll put cable here. And then the US there. Okay. So it's all nice and tidy. I can see exactly what's going on. Just lock them into place. Right. Want them all set to 1 hour. Set them all to the hourly chart. That's what's called my anchor. It's where I get trade ideas from, and I can see the sentiment of the market quite quickly. Okay. All right. So I'll just take off some of the drawings. Get rid of the drawings on these things. And the only drawings I want left is on that FTSE. Right, so what does this do for me? This is a world picture of the marketplace. We know gold is a sentiment of risk on, risk off. Okay, so if gold is going up, it's natural to assume the dollar is going down, and they are, which you can see here. Now, for this account, I'm mainly only going to be trading the FTSE. All I'm going to be trading on it, but I want to see what's happening in and around it. The driver is the S&P 500. Now the S&P 500 will naturally drive the indices markets. So if that's the case, I'm watching what happens on this. Now the US tech is also a big driver of the indices because it's got a lot of tech markets in it. Well, hence its name. So what I'll be looking for here is big spikes. If I see a big spike on here, it will ripple through into the FTSE. Likewise, if there's a big spike in gold, change of sentiment, I'll be watching to see what happens on the US dollar to see if it ripples into that. Because if it ripples into this, it will naturally affect the euro, dollar and the pound. And if they spike up, it will react back into the indices. So the whole thing is a giant barometer for me to see what's going on. So if that's going up, I'm expecting that to come down. If this is starting to come down, these will follow suit. And you can see it in the shape of the markets. They do follow suit. So that's all set up and I'm ready. So I then just need a trading window and find the FTSE. Drop that up into there. Put it onto my standard chart and I'm ready. So I'm ready to trade this at any one time. So I just need to find sentiment, decide whether I'm buying or selling on the day, trade it on an hourly chart, and I'm going to go from level to level to level. That's it. And I've also got a keen target that I can work to, which as you've just seen is peanuts. But it'll bear fruits in the form of about 60 quid at the end of the month, which means I could put 30 quid into my Vanguard. So give me a second and I'll quickly show you that. Or at least I will do when I find it. There we go. This is where I keep my trading money. The pot is currently worth £77,000. Doesn't sound a lot, but it's mine. It's not prop, it's not anything, it is mine. And the investments are doing very well. So this does the heavy lifting for me. It's bringing in half decent returns at this moment in time. And if we start pulling this up, my growth is 17.5%. It is huge. So why do I bother trading as much when I'm making 17% here? I don't need to, guys, because I'm not a fucking idiot. But I have been an idiot. I've taken on way too much and it's crippling me. So if we look at this performance, we can see that it's steadily gone up. Yes, I've been putting money in because I've been shutting accounts down and putting it in here for a very simple reason. I just want it to grow, you know. And the holdings that I have are very simple. I have 2 bond products, one slightly safer than the other one, that I'm starting to put little bits of money into. This is my safe haven. So if I get sort of 20 quid here and 30 quid there, I just dump it into here. And a way to do that is just save your change in your bank account. I do it all the time. If I see a bank account and it has sort of, I don't know, £1,015 in it, I'll just take it down to 1,000. Or if it's got like an odd 386, I'll take the 386 and just punt it into a savings account. And at the end of the month, I just dump it in there. And it doesn't half add up. And it's growing constantly. The emerging markets, I don't put any money into it. I put an initial amount of money in, and now I'm just going to leave it. And it'll be there for 10 years. If it explodes, it'll be worth some money. Then I have 2 all caps, because that's kind of what you can class an S&P 500 for. The S&P 500, I've recently just took all the money out and put it into the all cap, which is the FTSE Global all cap, which is why I'm trading that small FTSE account, because it's the whole market. It's about 7,000 stocks in there. It's a case of buy the haystack, not the needle, as the old saying goes. And it's growing phenomenally well. I've now started buying back into the S&P 500, and I'm expecting that to lose money, believe it or not, because I'm expecting it to dip down, but I'll have the units for when it comes back up. And as it goes down, I'll be buying those units cheaper. And then I have a slightly bigger bonded market that I've started putting money into as well. So it's slightly aggressive, but a little bit safer. And then that's my portfolio spread out quite nicely. So I'm quite happy with it. So at the moment, everything is ticking along. Now, for the last 5-6 years, or however long I've been doing YouTube, you've seen me day in, day out going at it. And I took a lot on over the last 2 years. And what's happened with the global world is I get no breaks, none whatsoever. And people are at you constantly, boom, boom, boom. Get no sleep, none whatsoever. People find my phone number, even though it says on WhatsApp, message only. But my phone rings constantly at 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and it's always the same sort of attitude. They don't give a monkeys, they just want something for themselves. And I kind of explain, sorry, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, can you message me? Then they kick off, and it's just no good, and it wears you down to the point where you genuinely don't want to help anybody. You genuinely don't, because they destroy you. And that's where the Scruffy Squad came from. The Scruffy Squad was a way for me to escape that to a degree, because that they are guys with a single purpose of getting better, and they are getting better. Every day, those guys are getting stronger and better. Don't get me wrong, not everybody makes it, because sadly, a lot come in and they think for 40 quid or whatever it costs to get the full course, etc., they're going to be rich in a week. And then they realise, no, it doesn't work like that. You could spend £10,000 on a course, and they are out there. You see them on the front of my videos every time. You see them for £5,000. Every one of my customers has passed FTMO. No, they haven't. And I know they haven't, because your customers are in my group. And they spent a fortune and got nothing back. And what I'm going to say to you about trading is, and that's why I want to have this little conversation about you as a person, is if you're chasing money, and this kind of comes from a comment we had the other day from SM, and I'll give a salute because it's good, but the comment was that it was disheartening. Give us a second, I'll find it, I'll show you it, because that's where this was triggered. All right, it's on the front of this video, and you have to bear with me. I'm having to sit funny because my kidneys are killing me. It was a strength. Well, there we go. We get these things all the time. Right, there we go. Mosby. The comment came, and I put it up because it's public anyway. If it was private, I wouldn't. While I'm on a break, I'm on holiday, I'm on the sick. I'm supposed to be on sick for a month. I was told not just to chill out for a month because literally exhausted. And would I miss trading opportunities? And I think I was right in what I was saying is, if you think like that, you're gambling. And went into it a little bit further about basically wanting everything that I do for free. No. I give a lot for free. I genuinely do. And one of the reasons why the Scruff Squad's there, I've spent a fortune on my education, and I've just explained, why would I help somebody who abuses me? Well, I won't. Period. And if you don't like it, well, tough. That's the way it is. But I'll tell you something. If you're scooting around YouTube looking just for freebies all the time, you're never going to make it. You'll be in exactly the same place in 2 years' time. I'll guarantee it. And it amazes me that people won't spend any money on buying a book and investing in themselves, but they'll put 200 quid into a broker and blow it in a week. They're fucking idiots. They genuinely are. Anyway, and I explained that I did this every day for the squad, which I do. And even though I'm out of sorts, I still help those guys because I feel obliged to. But I also said trading's not for everybody. And trading isn't for everybody. Because if you're a gambler, please give up. It'll destroy you. And if you're a money chaser and a magic pill, just give up. Because you're not going to make it. And then it says it's discouraging. It's not. It's solid advice on treating this as a job. It genuinely is about treating it as a job. And I can't really stress that enough. I can't really stress that enough. Because if you can't treat this as a job, you really are going down the route of addiction. And addiction comes in many forms. If you're a drug addict, it'll destroy you. If you're addicted to drink, it'll destroy you. And one of the biggest of the big three is gambling. Gambling will definitely destroy you because, believe it or not, gambling is probably the worst of the three. You have drug addicts that can kind of work their way through it and become clean. Drinkers can sort of become sober. But gambling can drive you to drink. So now it's compounded. It could even drive you to drugs. And it all comes from, you want the wins all the time, the sort of dopamine or whatever it's called, and your serotonin imbalances. You get these little tweaks, these little synapses, and you want it more and more. And what that does is it drives you to do things that you wouldn't normally do. And it's why I tell you guys, you have to treat this as a job. You have to. And sometimes when you're at work, and I've been through it a few times in my life. And what you got to remember when I do these videos, guys, I script nothing. It's all from the heart. And I tell you the way it is. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, it doesn't matter, because for me, it's just therapy. It's just me getting something off my chest. I worked in the corporate world for a long time. And I start at the bottom and I kind of work my way up to be pretty good at the job. But it was incredibly stressful. Incredibly stressful. So I decided I don't want this stress no more. You know, I don't want to be married to the job. because I was there 24 hours pretty much. You know, I'd get a phone call at 8 o'clock at night saying, oh, we're having a sort of strategy meeting tomorrow. And I was like, great, where's it at? We're going to have it in Borehamwood, London. And I'm like, do you realise where I live? You know, I lived at the other end of the country, so not only did I have to prepare a meeting and some kind of sort of chat and agenda, I also had to get there. You know, so phone call at 8 o'clock at night, and I had to be in London at 8 o'clock the next morning, prepared to present to a board. No good. You know, eventually it catches up with you. Then I started my own business. Did very well with it. You know, when it was just you, I was going to say you and I, when it was just Joanne and I, all right, I didn't make as much as I did in the end, but I was happier, very happy. We worked together, we had fun, we used to go away when we wanted to, because we didn't have to answer to anybody. Then the business grew. You get 1 employee, you get 2 employees. It grows a bit more and you get 3 employees, and then you need somebody to help you in the office, so you have 4 employees. And at its height, it had 19, and when it closed, it had 17. You know, 19 staff is a lot of people to have, and to have sort of 17 of them on the books at any one time is colossal. You know, because we used to bring in temporary staff at Christmas time, bring a couple of extra members in. Now, that became a millstone around my neck, and when the factory closed, it was actually a good thing. It wasn't financially, I lost everything I had, but from a mental state, it kind of was good. It gave me the greatest gift from the worst nightmare, and that was my wife. It gave me Joanne back, because I was heavily entrenched in the job again, and that's what's happening now. Trading for me was always about being free. You know, I was 47 when my factory closed, and I'd been a boss for 17 years, and I was a boss prior to that. Who's going to employ me? Nobody. But I found a way to earn a living, and you saw me do it from its start right the way through. So that Vanguard getting built from the start. That Vanguard now produces around 10 grand a year. You know, passive income, 10 grand. So when you see me talk about small accounts and building up, it's all about perception. You know, what's rich to one person is not rich to another. The morons who ring me think everybody has to be a millionaire. I couldn't give a fuck. If I get 30 grand a year, I'm happy, because it pays my bills, lets me do what I want. But I want my time back. And what's happened is I'm not sleeping. I'm not sleeping at all. I'm constantly requested to do this, do the other, do more, do more, do more, do more, with zero in return. Nothing in return. And it's just got to a point now where I don't want to do it no more. I genuinely don't want to do it no more. And that is something I never thought I'd ever say. I want to go back to basics. I want to enjoy switching the screens on and doing my job for me. And that's what I'm going to do. So when you ever see me on the screen, it's going to be for me. Nobody else. I don't give a toss about working for companies or anything like that. You've seen the emails. I turn them down all the time. You know, I just want to work for me. And that's what I'm going to do. So I'll trade my wage account. I do have a prop account that I trade. Keep that. And I'm going to trade my little accounts to inspire you and grow the Vanguard account. And if I can do that, I might get something back that I'm losing. And that's my health. Because I want to sleep at night. And I think this is the way forward. Anyway, guys, I hope that makes sense. I genuinely do. I wanted to just tell you something to make you think about what this job can do for you. It can bring you money. It genuinely can bring you money. But it has to be realistic money. You earn 60 quid a week? Brilliant. You earn 60 quid a month? Brilliant. You earn 60 quid a year? Brilliant. Why? Because you started with 0 and you ended with 1. And that's all this job's about. Now, if you can't maintain a yearly balance of, say 15%, which is outperforming the bank, just put your money in a Vanguard and let it do the heavy lifting for you. Why kill yourself to get the same money? Something for you to think about. See you all soon.